Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back, and I am getting back into the rest of Married at First Sight Australia series 12. I honestly don't want to leave you hanging and not complete the series. I will be completing the series. Yes, I'm very much behind because I've had a lot to do and other things needed to get started before I could come back and restart this series again. But you will start to see more of these videos come through until I reach the eventual end of them. Okay, so I know I am now on episode 16. Yous have probably skipped way far past where I am right now, but bear with, because I am going to get there, okay? And it will be worth the wait. It will be, okay? So before we get into this video, my renegades and all of those coming in, as I always say, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so we know I'm doing videos. Please comment, like, share and do the good things that you do, because I continue to be on the road to 1k. So as it left off, where I left off the other video 10 days ago, okay, don't at me, just don't at me, 10 days ago, we know that Elliot and Lauren has made a reappearance, and there's been a lot going on in between, especially with Adrian, especially with Sierra, especially with Adrian fucking off the whole of the freaking set and his marriage, because Bandchild was not allowed in the promo. So he spat his proverbial dummy out and expected Afwina to show care and attention to him and his stupidness, yeah, because he believed he was disrespected, when in actuality he disrespected Afwina, and he keeps on disrespecting this girl. I don't know why she keeps on giving this boy chance after chance, but you get me, you get me. Anyway, so it's dinner party time. We'll see that Elliot's going to walk in with Veronica, and I think Veronica's then going to get an essence of who Elliot is, especially when this man is going to come face to face with Lauren, and vice versa when Lauren walks in with Clint and she's going to come face to face with Elliot, because at the end of the day, them two do not know that they're back, and the other couples do not know that they're back, right? So Adrian at this point still not come back. This man left, as we all know, because he wasn't included in the promo. And looking at when they showed the clips of the promo and the men that they did pick, I think it came down to aesthetics at the end of the day, because majority of the men within that promo were actually not the husbands that are actually in the damn show anyway. So Adrian needed to literally wind his motherfucking neck in on this, like seriously. The man had the broad brass knuckles to not only say he was not coming back, he was asking Jesus be forget Afwina what he was coming back for. So then this is when Afwina finds out. This is via text messaging, because they tried to talk on phone but Adrian was being a prick, so they're texting back and forth. And then Afwina finds out that Adrian actually went to dinner with Sierra, but they added Tony in there. Now, my thing is, when it comes to them adding Tony in there, he was just a buffer for what they were really doing, because to be fair, Adrian and Sierra went out on a date. They can try and paint it as any which way they want to, yeah. They went out on a date. But the fucked up thing is Sierra did and took that step with Adrian, and then went on a walk with Afwina the day after. Didn't even tell Afwina that she went on a date with Adrian. She went to dinner with Adrian, knowing full well that this woman is standing there chatting to her about the state of her marriage with Adrian right now, and the fact that this man has walked away from her and left his wedding ring on the side, telling her he's not coming back because he wasn't in the promo. And she, face favor, stood there in this girl's face and didn't even tell her, let me stop you right there before you go any further. This is what occurred between me and Adrian, and I wanted you to know, so if it does come up, you will know it wasn't meant in any dastardly way. It was just literally to talk about the situation at hand. Did Sierra do that shit? No, she kept that shit buttoned to herself, and I thought, I don't know why, because we know that shit was gonna get leaked out anyway. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, Sierra was turning into something that I just didn't like at all. So Billy ends up finding out what the fuck Sierra did, to be honest with you. And he was literally pissed. He was fuming, which is within his rights. His feelings were absolutely valid. And just because they keep painting, oh, well, Tony was there too and no one's having a go at Tony. Tony was the fucking beard, man. Tony was the beard. At the end of the day, them two were trying to play it as though, oh, it's just a couple of friends going out for a meal. No, it wasn't. Tony was just there to provide a backstory for them two having a freaking date. That's all there was. But the only wrong I was seeing Tony is he didn't tell nobody. He didn't tell nobody. He didn't even tell them two that it's wrong for them to meet up, yeah, without their significant others knowing. And Tony at that stage would have definitely known that Adrian had left Afwina high and dry at that point, and he did not even give no advice. And this is why I mean that there's some points with Tony where I don't think he's a good person at times. He really isn't. So you seem to see that Morena and Tony have now made changes and they're looking like they're enjoying each other's company. Ree's talking about how she's nervous about going to the dinner with Jackie and her behaviour. But all I'm going to say is this dinner isn't going to be about Jackie and her bullshit at the end of the day. When it comes to Jackie and Ryan, you need to leave them two mad people to themselves and let them do what it is that they need to do, because there's something quite not right with them two anyway. So then it flips to you seeing Jackie and Ryan all huggy and kissy and with each other again. And Ryan is now saying that they're in a great place. And I'm just like, beam me the fuck up, Scotty, like seriously, because Jackie is what I would indicate is definitely a fatal attraction type of person. I don't know if she's boiled bunnies in her past, but I wouldn't put it past her. Let me just put it that way. So in comes Lauren and Elliot. They've moved into the flats now. Clint is basically saying that he's talking about it. He's like, oh, I'm so glad that Elliot's gone. I'm like, mate, you don't even know the half of it, because you're literally gonna be smack bang in front of this man's face very, very freaking soon at the end of the day. So they've decided to let Elliot back in because they believe that he would benefit from the experiment more than anyone else. Me, myself and I really don't think so. I haven't seen any changes yet, so that's literally just hanging on a peg at the moment to see whether this man can change my mind in regards to how I feel about him. So Elliot is talking to Veronica about how he and Lauren were not a good match. And I thought, yeah, you weren't a good match, mate, because of you. It weren't because of Lauren, it was because of you. So this is why I'm saying Veronica's going to learn a few two things about Elliot tonight. Let me see about that. So Adrian then decides to come back with his tail between his legs. And I swear to God, I was like, I don't understand why Afwina stayed. I don't really rightfully understand why these women and some of the men, when they're being treated awfully by the people that they're with, that they continue to perpetuate the whole like running circle each time, making these people think that they can act bad, treat them poorly, and then come back with their tail between their legs with a nice little cute smile to get you on side, because you're still there waiting to deal with their bullshit. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And I feel the same with Billy as well, with Sierra, because Sierra left that wedding, yeah, like she cut and run basically, and she found an attraction with Adrian. That's what she did. She may say, oh, Adrian understands me and yada yada yada. Let's just flip the script. She found Adrian attractive. She liked Adrian. They started talking, and I think they started talking probably way before all of this came up, to be honest with you, and putting the feels out to get with each other. That's what they were doing. So you know that Sierra found Adrian attractive. Sierra likes Adrian, and same way for Adrian. I think Adrian's just out there for any kind of PUSSY that he can get, to be honest with you. It has no face. Let's just put it that way. He's had no face. He's having fun with Afwina. That's all he's doing. He ain't there to look at the bigger picture. He ain't there for no long-term relationship at all. I don't see that. I really don't see that. So Adrian really thought in his head that him coming back, Afwina should not mind, because he came back home to his wife. So Afwina tried to raise with him about the going out with the dinner with Sierra and him not reaching out to Afwina. And this man-child had the audacity to tone police Afuina and tell her to stop shouting at him. I was like, you see this there? You see this right here? This is why I couldn't sit there and let people like play fuckeries in my face like I'm some kind of dunce. I couldn't do it. So that's why I don't understand how if Winner can blindly sit there and still try and chat to this man after he's done the shit that he did. He basically turned around and says to her that he believed the Winner should have reached out to him. After she done told this dude she was not okay with him having dinner or being out with Sierra, but it's the responsibility then fell on Afuina from Adrian's perspective for her to reach out to him, and she didn't do that. And then the girl's still sitting there trying to argue the toss with this dude, and I'm like, you're just arguing with a petulant child at the end of the day. There's no use arguing with this man because he can't see the wood through the trees. He won't accept no responsibility for his actions, and he's just a giant prick. At the end of the day, how he managed to stay in relationships is fucking beyond me. Like, seriously. So then we are at dinner party number 3. So you see Rhea and Jeff walking first. You see Jamie and Dave next. Tony and Morena do look good together. I'm glad, like, in parts that Morena did take on board what the experts told her, because I've been saying that someone needs to tell this woman how she is presenting herself to people, to be honest with you, and that she is causing half the issues between her and Tony. So new couple, Beth and TJ walking, they look good. You see Inwards, Karina and Paul. You see Jackie and Ryan again on the drive to the dinner, and this is what they do. They plan their approach, how they're going to play things, and you see everybody else before they walk in talking about how confusing they are. I said, because Jackie is the issue. Jackie is the one with the issue in this relationship. After watching how she behaved at Beth and TJ's wedding, yeah, Ryan is not the issue, believe me. Ryan just feeds into her fucking crazy like it's normal, but it ain't. It really isn't. I believe it when Ryan turned around and says, like, with the relationship that he previously had, he saw the toxicity of it, but he continued to sustain it because he almost was like he was enjoying being in a toxic relationship. And I think it's the same pattern of behaviour that's happening here with Jackie. Like, seriously. He watched Jackie and Ryan again, all lovey-dovey. Everyone is shocked by them walking in together when they were separated for a week. Yeah, they didn't live together for a week, but yet they've walked in together all high and mighty, and that, you know, there's no issues within their relationship. Ree basically totally blanked Jackie, weren't going to speak to her at all. Jackie is talking to the producers saying that she hopes Ree will get out of it, and get over it, and I'm just kind of like, mate, you've not even apologized to the woman, because what Jackie did in terms of texting Jeff and telling him don't bring your wife was actually underhanded and deceptive, and Jackie just can't see the madness of it all. So in walks Afuina on her own, and I thought that's a good start. That is a good start. So she's told everybody what happened with Adrian and brought out the fact that, you know what, he went on a date with Sierra. Billy walks as well into the dinner by himself. So basically, as again, that's when they have the discussion about Sierra being out with Afuina all day and didn't even tell Afuina that she went on a date with Adrian, was a total piss take at the end of the day. And then as they're talking about Sierra, door opens and in walks Sierra. Sierra was battle ready, man. Yeah. I thought, you sneaky deaky Rudu. Like, seriously, I was wondering how Adrian and definitely Sierra are going to play this out. The doors actually did pull back, and Afuina even said, wow, as in she had the audacity to come to this dinner party knowing exactly what she did and what she caused. But I'm like, it's kind of like you need to get your answers either way at the end of the day. So you see it cuts off to Sierra talking to the producers, and she's talking about, yes, she did have dinner with Adrian, and she doesn't believe that she did anything wrong with that. She was trying to say that circumstances put her in that situation, but she holds her hands up to it. And I'm like, but if you really felt like you did something wrong, why didn't you tell Afuina that you was out with her husband the night before? Like, she would have known the situation that happened between Afuina and between Athena and Adrian, and more so Adrian walking out on Athena because he wasn't in a promo. Someone here is lying. Someone here is trying to save face up in here at the end of the day. So Sierra goes to speak with Athena and basically tries to tell her that she knows, like, she was in the wrong, and then tries to make an excuse by saying, you know how isolated I've been feeling talking about her relationship with Billy. But it's an isolation of Sierra's own making, to be fair, so she can't blame Billy for the bullshit that's happening in her marriage right about now. So that does not mean that you can then go date another woman's husband and then smile in the wife's face like you did nothing the next day. That does not mean that. So Athena draped out Sierra, yeah, and just basically told her about herself and told her at the end of the day, you had all day to speak to me. We were together all day and you lied to me. Isolation be freaking damned at the end of the day. There was no excuse for that. And you see Billy in the background saying, like, egging Athena on and saying good girl in regards to Athena, backing her up. But the thing that I noticed with Sierra is she didn't acknowledge Billy until after that conversation with Athena and said all right to him, how you doing, and that's about it. She not once has gone to Billy and apologized for her behavior within their relationship and apologized for speaking to another man in regards to the deepest, darkest parts of her that her husband wanted to know. She not once apologized to this man, which I found wholly disgusting of her, to be honest with you. In walks freaking Adrian by himself, showing his true colours, because this man is still mad over the fact that he was not included in a promo, and he doesn't realise that he's the villain in this story arc, not anybody else but him. At the end of the day, this man has no business being married. I think for Adrian it's literally just all for showing. It was a reason for him to be able to get in between somebody's legs legality wise, yeah, without the whole proper train fanfare type of thing, because now you're stuck together in this container ship of emotions. At the end of the day, you've just been married. That's where he wanted to take that scenario, and that's what he did. He's literally just having fun with Athena and her body. That's how I'm seeing it. So this man is so full of shit, because when he comes in, he does after him, says hello to everybody. He ends up making a beeline for Athena and creeping around her, and he could see that Athena's hurt by him and not happy. This man said, oh, you look cute, and then gave her the little cutesy smile. And then Athena, God bless her little cotton socks, went and little freaking smiled with the man. And I'm just like, dude, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. He knows how to get round this girl because she shows the same behaviour every single time. And I'm thinking there's got to come a time where you've got to start protecting yourself and your emotions from dickhead people like this. Like, seriously. So, the producer asked Adrian what his relationship is like with Sierra. At first, his first words were, I don't know. Then he quickly thought, oh shit, I can't say that and put that out there because people will run inference on it. So then he starts to, like, you know, deny and say that something else is going on at the end of the day. So Sierra went to sit and go talk with Morena about the situation. And this is why Adrian is such a dickhead, because he couldn't read the room in regards to the situation at hand right now, especially with Billy and Athena being there and both of them being pissed at the situation that's happening between Adrian and Sierra. This man goes and plonks himself right next to Sierra. I'm like, is this man taking the piss right now? Is this man really taking the piss right now? I'll give it to Sierra. She did look uncomfortable that Adrian sat down to her and says, oh no, not you. And basically was telling him, like, you should not be sitting next to me right about now because it's just going to make things worse. Yeah. And she did kind of remove herself from that situation. So I'll give her that. So then in walks Lauren and Clint, and everybody was really happy to see Lauren again. And then in walks Elliot and Veronica. And I was like, plot twist, just as Billy shouted out the words plot twist as well, because it definitely was. And I thought, this is where the arrogance is going to beat the downfall of Elliot, you know, because this is the Elliot we will know and love when he chats his bullshit about Lauren. So then in comes dinner is served. So Jeff basically turned around and says that he doesn't believe that Elliot should be there. He really doesn't. He doesn't think that Elliot deserves to be there after the way that he treated Lauren, and I would agree with him. So Jeff opened it all up and said cheers to Elliot for lasting more than 2 days with Veronica. I was like, go on, Jeff. So he asked Elliot, like, so why are you here now? Elliot said, remember at the box party, and we had that whether you're going to be in 100% chance, and he basically said that I said if we don't click I will leave. This is the problem with Elliot. He likes to sugarcoat things rather than giving a direct answer. This man literally didn't want Lauren because she was 38 years old. He's 37, or whichever late 30s he is at the end of the day. He wasn't that far off the age group of Lauren. So he has no space to chat in that bullshit. Yeah, this man didn't give Lauren a chance at all, because once he found out her age, it weren't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen. But his first look, and when they first got married, he liked Lauren. So he needs to stop with the bullshit. So all the group came for him for only giving it days. As Ree says, like, not all of us clicked from the get-go, but we made it work and put in an effort. Why does he then get to come back? I've been asking myself that same question since they let that man back in, to be honest with you. I had to see this man's mug face my screen once again. I thought, what? So this man says that he didn't leave because he thought he was better than anyone. I thought, you're full of bullshit. This man thought he could do better than Lauren. This man tried to put Lauren down within that marriage, and then he left her high and dry. Man really said to the table, I did Lauren a favour. Even Veronica looked at him as if to say, what the fuck did you just say? Billy even said to Elliot, you did not do Lauren a favour at the end of the day. So Clint asked Elliot, so are you saying you treated Lauren fairly? Elliot, of course, said yes. So it came to Lauren's turn to speak, and speak she did. She aired it all out. So Elliot was literally laughing at Lauren each time Lauren was saying, this is what you did, this is what you did. And she literally listed it like freaking bullet points. So you knew this girl was not lying. Yeah. And Veronica is looking more and more disgusted with Elliot as it goes on. To the producers, Elliot has the cheek to say Lauren is speaking from an emotional state. Mate, what? What? And then at the table, this man is really trying to gaslight Lauren. Yeah, when she told the truth, Lauren wasn't lying in what she was saying. She had no reason to not be honest, to be honest with you. And it's all on camera that what Lauren said happened. And this is what is not getting into the fucking mind of Elliot. So this man said to Lauren, well, you had about 5 drinks, so you know you probably wouldn't remember. What a way to shame the girl for speaking the truth, and it. Even all the girls had to say, don't do that. I don't think Elliot realises that Veronica is watching and hearing him right now and literally painting a little picture in regards to who he may be. So I just like, this is why he didn't tell the truth to your friends, love, at your wedding. You were fully taken with this dude. Veronica was fully taken with this dude at face value, yeah. And now she's starting to see the Elliot that we've all seen. So Elliot is getting called out left, right and centre, and it's his arrogance that's going to make him his downfall. This is why they shouldn't have let this man back in. He ain't changed. For me, at this point, when we was at the dinner party, he didn't change. He was just glossing over shit, yeah, and trying to put a bit of sparkle on it. In essence, Elliot was not being a nice or fair person at that table. Yes, he was going into damage control. Yes, he felt that people were getting at him, so he needed to dig that little bit deeper. But he wasn't accepting of any responsibility, yeah, in regards to how he treated Lauren at the end of the day. There was no apologies, there was no nothing, and then you literally sit there, gaslight her, and then try to shame her backside. Jamie ends up talking to Elliot at the table and saying, look, the explanations that you are giving are not landing well, and these are the reasons why. Man still didn't get it. I think Adrian, Tim and Jake yeah, don't know what accountability is in the slightest. That's including Elliot too. So Veronica told Elliot, the way you said that Lauren had 5 drinks and basically told him, right, that, how dare you shame Lauren. Again, Elliot doesn't see it. He tries to deflect from his words and actions in front of Veronica, but Veronica puts a stop to him in his tracks, yeah, and told Elliot to think about his choice of words and why people believe that he just shamed Lauren with what he said. And then you gaslit her, and Elliot was like, I didn't do that. And she said, dude, I just watched you do it. Elliot was floundering like a guppy fish. I thought, yeah, because nobody's put you in your place before like that. And that's why I did like Veronica for doing that, because nobody put that man in his place before for doing what he wanted. Yeah, because at the end of the day, Elliot likes Veronica and seems to want things to work out with Veronica. So he wants to put himself in a good stead with her and in a good position with her, and also make a good impression on her. And he knows right now that he's not making a good impression. So that's why he can't really say much, because now he's floundering. Then we have Jackie and her madness marching in, because apparently now she's looking around the room at all the loved up couples, and she thinks her and Ryan are on par with everyone else. I was like, no, you're not. You really not. This girl then gets up from the table, walks around to Ryan, and I thought, oh God, what's going to be the fucking issue now? Because this girl just likes to keep up appearances. She's the Mad Hatter herself, I'm telling you this now. And Ryan doesn't help, because he feeds into her brand of craziness. So she literally interrupts Ryan talking and tells him right there in front of everyone, give her 10 things he likes about her. I was like, wait, what? This is why I said this girl needs therapy. She's not of this world. She should not be in this show, because she's liable to give a fucking saint a fucking headache. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, it's no wonder why she was rated single for so long, and why each and every man dipped on her backside. Because, nah, man, I couldn't deal with that. I sincerely could not deal with that. Ryan said, like, I like you're fit, you're healthy, you eat well. So Jack is basically saying that she sees a potential future with Ryan, and says that they take good photos together. I think people are just going to have to leave them to their own devices, because it is going to fall apart at some point, because I just yeah, I'm gonna literally carry on. So Jeff and Dave calls out Ryan for what Ryan said at the wedding about Jackie. So Ryan made the faux pas of saying to Jeff that, you know what, usually the latest in the room is usually the person with something to hide. I thought that is the wrong person to say your bullshit to, Ryan. Like, seriously, that was the wrong person to come for after the fucked up shit that your wife did. Do you know what I mean? So Jeff came out swinging. Ryan tried to say that Jeff was not dragged into his and Jackie's crazy relationship. So Jeff said to him, okay then, answer my question. Are you saying I was not dragged into your relationship? Ryan was quiet. I said, because you can't say no to that, because your wife dragged him into the shit of Ryan and Jackie, and he needs to realise that. And of course Jackie is quietly watching, because Jackie, I've noticed, is an instigator. She's a little fire starter. She will start her bullshit and then step back and see Ryan take the fall for the bullshit that she started. So Ryan ignores Jeff and moves to Ree and asks Ree what things and if she still has an issue. Ree set it on fire and ended with, Jackie is lucky it was me that she was dealing with and not with any of the other wives up in here, because I'm telling you, if it had been anybody else's husband up in this place that she had messaged saying don't bring your wife, she would have had a lot worse reaction than what Ree was giving her. Let's just put it that way. So Beth did ask the question as to why she messaged Jeff to see if Jackie was into Jeff. Jackie denied it, but said she just wanted a shoulder to lean on, basically. For me, in regards to that, it came off as a dodge for Jackie at the end of the day. She did end up apologising to Ree, but I only think she did that because she was getting called out by her bad behaviour. So Billy then raises the situation between Sierra, Adrian, and now Afwina and himself. So he let Afwina have her voice at the table, and I'm glad Billy did do that, to be honest, because now it's time for Adrian to sit back and listen to what Afwina needs to say in regards to the situation in and of itself, and not brush her off as he always does. So Billy does chime in here and there and has Afwina's back, as he didn't just do what he did to Afwina, he did it to Billy too, and that's what Adrian needs to realise. So again, when Afwina's talking about Adrian's behaviour, as Adrian does, he'll begin to fling it back at Afwina, saying how, even when she's telling this man to his face how he has demeaned her, he still wants examples. So Moreno and Jeff had to say to Adrian, let her speak. Adrian is literally deaf, staring Afwina down as she talks, and I'm like, this is what this man does. He tries to intimidate. If he can't get Afwina to shut up in the normal ways that he does it, he will then try to intimidate her into shutting up, basically. So Afwina is saying to producers that she and Adrian are not a couple right now, and she has done all the work and she's basically over it. And I'm just like, at this point, actions are speaking louder than words, yeah, because it's at this time that you literally need to pack your rotted bags and say, do you know what, it's not working between me and you, let's leave. I'm leaving, yeah, because whatever Adrian says, he is never going to change his behaviour of a lifetime, because he's an entitled little brat. So Jamie asked Adrian, why did you leave? So here it comes about the promo shoot, and when he said like they all went and he didn't, a lot of others spoke up and said, well, we weren't there as well, but we didn't fucking leave our marriages because we weren't there. So he then wanted people to be quiet so he could speak, but he didn't give the same grace to Afwina or anybody else that was speaking. At the end of the day, there was no excuse for what Adrian did, right? And he really needs to see the BS of his behaviour, like seriously he does. So everyone is looking at Adrian like, dude, you left your wife because you was not in a promo. This man really then sat at the table and accused Afwina of gaslighting him. And I just thought, is this bitch for real right now? Is this bitch for real right now? I just got lost for words. Adrian then slipped up and he said, this is the problem with you females. I was like, oh boy, wrong choice of words there, Adrian. That was never going to go down well at all. We females, go on. We females, Adrian. We females. You see Afwina shut down completely at this point. I mean, her whole face, everything's shut down, and she's just staring off into space. She doesn't speak. She's looking blankly at the table while everybody's like literally talking around her, including Adrian. I says, now it should be for Billy to let Adrian catch it from him at the end of the day, because Adrian has no respect for women at all. He has no respect for anybody at that table at all, for his behaviour. So Afwina came back swinging. She said, fuck you, I am not sitting here protecting you no more. And that's when she sat there and she said in front of the whole table, you could hear a pin drop after she said it, why were you out for dinner with Sierra last Saturday night? I was like, boom, and there it goes. And there it goes. So Adrian said he was trying to help Sierra as she genuinely looked upset. I was like, mate, come on. Pull the freaking other one. So now Adrian wants to blame Afwina by saying he didn't tell her, as he felt like they have to walk on eggshells each time, him and Sierra, because of the shit that came out at the last commitment ceremony. Not realising that it was Sierra who literally threw it out there, blindsiding everybody, especially Billy and Afwina, that her and Adrian were actually meeting up and hanging out and sharing past and sharing history behind their wife and their husband's backs. So Karina called Adrian out. Yeah, this man tried to lie. He said he asked Afwina to come out. Adrian was quick to say, no, you didn't. You didn't ask me to come out. And I think, imagine leaving your wife and you went out to dinner with another wife who you've been sharing personal shit with each other, and that is supposed to be acceptable? Is that how they're trying to play it at this dinner table now? Adrian don't care. Adrian does not care. So Afwina called out Sierra for not telling her to. Sierra then explains, like, we only shared a plate of meat. That's all that happened. She was saying that the dinner was innocent, but it was shitty of her not to tell Afwina. And I would imagine that Afwina, as I've already said, was confiding in Sierra about Adrian, and she already knew where that man was and that she met him. So I don't know how you can portray this air of innocence when there is lie and duplicity to your behaviour. Billy is sitting there listening to Sierra apologising to Afwina for betraying her trust, and he's there like, well, what the fuck about, what am I Scotch freaking missed? What about me? What about me? And I would have said the same thing. And this is why Adrian and Sierra are one of a kind when it comes to their dismissive ways of the hurt that they're causing the people that they're married to. So Billy said to Sierra, but you addressed Adrian and Afwina when you came in, but why not me? Adrian, again, not reading the room because, you know, he's an arrogant prick, actually is there sitting defending Sierra's behaviour towards Billy by asking the injured party why he didn't address Sierra first. I thought, mate, come off it with that BS. Come off it with that BS. So then Tony decides to pipe up, yeah. I'm just like, Tony, no. We're not doing that. You don't condone their behaviour or their actions, yeah, because you, my friend, were used as a buffer because they didn't really want you there, but they knew they had to have somebody there who was gullible enough to be there and become their protector in it all. Tony, you were the cover. You were the cover for what it was that they were really doing. Billy says, I don't care if Tony was there or not. You cannot take away from the fact that you two went out for dinner. He told Adrian, you cannot defend that. But they are. Adrian and Sierra are trying to defend their actions. Adrian, really, with his arrogance, yeah, is pissed at Billy then for coming at him. I thought, mate, you've been sharing histories. You've been sharing pasts with the man's wife. You've been emotionally cheating on your wife with the man's wife. You took the man's wife out. Adrian really doesn't realise that he is in the wrong, yeah. So apparently Billy called Adrian and said he wanted to do a wife swap. So yes, Billy did do that, which was a little bit uncouth of Billy to do at the end of the day. I do believe it was in straight direct contention to what he'd found out on the chair with Sierra, and then how it all fell apart for them, and then him realising that Sierra and Adrian are still meeting up. So Billy decides to make an offhand remark in terms of swapping the wives, basically. I thought, dude, I don't know why you said that to Adrian, because of course he was going to use that as ammo to deflect from the situation of him and freaking Sierra. He's like, if I'm going down, you're going down with me. And he literally dragged fucking Billy by the ankles with that comment, seriously, and dragged him to hell with him. So Billy did admit it and gave the context as to why he did what he did at the end of the day. So now Sierra pipes up because now she's all flustered, angry and everything at Billy. Bearing in mind, this cowbag hasn't even apologised to Billy for her own behaviour, but now wants to slap this on Billy, yeah. And Billy said point blank that he don't trust Sierra, he don't trust her at all. And that's when she gets up and walks out all affronted. Then Adrian walks out with her, then Tony walks out with her. I'm like, are these people taking a piss? Because everyone's literally then looking at them and saying Adrian's with Sierra again. I'm saying, yeah, Billy was wrong in his comments about the wife swap, don't get me wrong there. But unpopular opinion as well, they just deflected the whole conversation away from them and their behaviour to that. And that's where the episode ended. I'll be back in quick succession with the next episode. As always, Samurai Renegades, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so we know when I'm doing videos. Please comment, like, share and do the good things that you do, because I continue to be on the road to 1k. Peace out.